Okay, today we're just going to talk about the basics of shaping a Western hat. Um, we keep two things in mind when we're shaping a hat. Your particular Western discipline, if you're showing horses, or what you like in a hat. Getting a hat shaped is just like a lady getting her hair done. You can pick your color, your style, your shape to complement your face and to fit your lifestyle. To get a good quality hat that's shapeable, that's long lasting, they're made of different blends of fur. Rabbit fur, beaver fur, mink fur. Your basic shapeable long-term usable Western hat is going to start at $180. The hat I'm going to demonstrate on today is a $350 retail hat. As you can see, this is the way they come from the factory, and you can feel this fur quality in this hat. This is a 30X hat and it retails for $350. This hat feels good, feels like it's got the right amount of stiffener in it, that it's going to shape and hold its shape. So we're going to start out by shaping the crown or the top of the hat. And this is going to be a traditional cutter ranchman type crease.
Steaming.
What we're doing now is we're trying to get steam on the hat. The trick is to get enough, but not to get too much, because if you get too much, it makes your job a lot harder. So what I do is I grab the back ribbon in the exact front of the hat, and I look down the center of the hat, get an idea where the center is, and I start putting my center crease in.
Can the average person feel the difference
Oh yeah,
in hats?
oh yeah.
A poor quality hat would feel like what?
Rough, coarse, too flimsy or too hard. This hat feels just very silky when you touch it, smooth, just a very, very pleasant feeling to feel the fur in this hat. So the big deal is start off by getting this top crease straight. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now we're going to put some sides in it.
So is that just steam, or is there something in that steamer?
It's just water, just steam. This is not the fastest steamer in the world. The really premium steamers sell for about $3,000. But this is certainly not the cheapest steamer, and works well for me. Okay, it's a little too stiff yet, a little too dry yet.
How many years have you been shaping and fitting hats?
Well, I was a lucky young man when I was 14 years old. The person who owned Resist All Hat Company was John Milano, and he was from Italy. All your really good hat makers back in the day were Italians. And John took a liking to me. And we were at a merchandise show. And I guess I was asking the right questions because he says you come back after the show closes and you and I will work on some hats and we'll talk about different qualities and how hats are made. And so I was lucky to have one of the truly great people in the hat manufacturing business give me an education on hat quality.
And so what are you doing right now on the front? What's that called?
Right now we're just trying to get our traditional cattleman crease in there, trying to keep the moisture content good enough so that the fur will bend and hold its shape and not get it so wet that it won't hold its shape.
So you can get them too wet and they won't hold their shape at all. Then is the hat ruined?
Just makes it very difficult to shape if you get too much steam on a hat. Okay, here's the beginning of our top or our crown. As that dries, may need to adjust it a little bit. And for me, it's easiest to start at the back of the brim or the lower part of the hat and then shape forward. We use a horsehair hat brush. On a black hat, we use a black one. On a light colored hat, we use a lighter colored one to keep the dust off, to keep it clean while we're working on it.
Why is that called a cowboy crease?
This is your traditional, long-standing cattleman, traditional Western hat crease. We can crease your hat, though, any shape you want. We've been doing a lot of hats in the Gus style from the movie Lonesome Dove lately. They seem to be growing in popularity. And then we've been doing a lot of rodeo hats lately, which are a little plainer. But this would be a traditional gentleman's dress hat to maybe a hat someone would wear in the cutting horse arena.
So is there a big difference between, let's use cutting as an example, is there a big difference between a gentleman's hat in the cutting world and a woman's hat, the way it's shaped in the cutting world?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is that true for like most breeds and disciplines?
Right. A man's hat and a lady's hat in paint horse Western pleasure would be shaped very, very similar with some slight variations just to improve how the hat looks on your head. If you have a pretty round face, we may tend to make the front of the hat a little wider, not to make your face look so round. Or if you have a narrow face, we would tend to make the front of the hat a little narrower, not to make your head look too narrow. Now, one of the things you have to do is you have to have a little slope on the front and the back so the hat stays in shape. So you got to always work on both ends a little bit or not lose your slope on your back while you're working on your front.
Is there a practical reason for having the slope, or is that just the way you do it?
Well, there's two practical reasons. One is if you do happen to get wet, a little bit of slope lets the rain run off. And the other reason is your hat will hold its shape better if there's a little bit of slope to both the front and the back.
On average, how long would a hat like that last if it's well taken care of?
Oh boy. 20 years. This quality of hat could last 20 years if it was taken care of and used on a real regular basis. We get a lot of people today who get $50 to $75 hats, which are made out of synthetic wool or paper wool, and we can maybe reshape them one time, and then that's it. They're throwaway hats. They're great if you're going to wear a hat a couple times a year, but they're not made for regular use.